I say it every week. I love that song. How the hell were we so lucky? Thanks to Defects, our boys in Defects who were on Radio 1 this week. Anyway, enough about everything else. Welcome along once again to the Thursday Night Delight. I am your host, the incomparable Shane Harris. Down below is Mr. Philip Perrins. To my left is our beautiful, beautiful baby Hope. Welcome along once again to the Third and Long podcast. Conspicuous by his absence is the OG daddy himself, the daddy of this show, Oliver Butler Henderson. He's currently sunning himself on a beach somewhere. Have a lovely time away. You, Kelly, and the kids. Look after yourselves. Have a really nice time. But, gentlemen, I'll go one at a time today because it's so much easier. Ollie Hope, how the devil have you been, my old buddy?
I'm good. All good. I'm in Bath. Happy. Glad it's Thursday night. Glad to be on the podcast with you guys. How have you been, Mr. Harris?
Wait, you had a bath? It's not the kind of thing you tell people.
I live in Bath.
Not too bad, but not too bad. I'm enjoying my existence more and more these days. You know, new people in my life, new things, a lot of things going on. But we love NFL on this show, and we are not far from the show itself. About 8 weeks now. Mr. P, at last, he's not eating, but he's back on the show, back in your ears, back in your eyes. How are you doing, my old buddy?
Oh my Gideon, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing to be back onto the show. I'm buzzing to see you guys as well. It's been a really, really good week. I apologize for not being on the show last week, but yeah, it's been really, really good, and I'm looking forward to talking about some actual NFL stuff because yeah, things in the American football world for me over here in the UK is really good. We might talk about it a little bit later on about the Lincoln Titans and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm really, really jazzed to talk. Jazzed? Who says jazz? I'm really, really excited to talk about NFL stuff with you guys today, especially with a certain situation that's going on in the West Coast.
Yes.
We have a certain situation. We'll move on to that all in due. Well, yeah, I'm going to say we move on to that all in due course. But baby, you're on the hot seat this week. Would you like to do the news in 60 for us?
Of course.
This is the news in 60.
So we'll start off with the very sad news that Jacoby Jones has died at the age of 40. I know you want to talk about that, Shane, so I won't spend that much time on it now. Another story we're going to talk about is Brandon Ayuk requesting a trade from the 49ers. We've got the fact that Good Morning Football is back in its new LA home from the 29th of July with some new presenters. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that. We'll touch on that later too. After 13 seasons, Randall Cobb has retired from the NFL. One of Aaron Rodgers' most trusted receivers and friends in Green Bay, and then obviously moved to New York with him. And finally, the Jags have released some throwback uniform. And boys, training camp has started, which means football is back. That's, I think, about 60 seconds. So
that'll do him, boys. 60 seconds. Let's wrap him up, take him home.
So I think, Shane, you had something to say about the very sad news about Jacoby Jones. So shall we start with that?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone who knows me or knows anything about this show knows that I'm a Ravens fan, diehard through and through. And I was in the house Sunday, just, playing the Xbox, having a quiet couple hours, and I saw on Twitter that there was rumors that he passed away, and I was like, that's not true. It can't be true. So, yeah, as the hours went by, you saw more and more updates, and it turns out that Jacoby Jones has passed away. And it was 3 days after his 40th birthday. To put that into perspective, I'm 40 next year, I'm 39 in October. That's no age to go, boys. That's no age to go. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I shed a tear, and I'm almost shedding tears now because it's awful. It's awful for the organization, awful for the fans, awful for the friends and family, of course. Lamar Jackson put on his Instagram that Jacoby Jones was one of the first people to greet him when he first, came to Baltimore through the draft. And he was always there with a smile on his face. He was always one of the happiest people in the room. And, there was things like when he went on stage at the draft and he was just having fun. winding opposing fans up and just having a bit of banter. And that was the kind of person that he was. John Harbaugh also put quite a speech together as well about him, and it said how basically everyone loved him, and it's like, for the Ravens, this is not meant in a banterous way whatsoever, or meant to offend anybody else in this virtual room. But he scored touchdowns against the Niners in the Super Bowl. He is forever enshrined in Ravens folklore. And he played for the Chargers, the Steelers as well, and he also played for, I think he was drafted by the Texans, in 2007. But in our heart, he'll always be a Raven. I can't say much more on it. It's really awful. Really awful.
Yeah. I was going to say,
I think they should have number 12 on their jerseys this year in tribute to Jacoby Jones.
I was going to say, everyone remembers that 102-yard touchdown in the Super Bowl against the Niners that pretty much won Baltimore the game.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he's and I can't say any more as much as I want to. It's really, really sad.
Yeah, obviously, I know I speak for us all here and Ollie in Mallorca that our thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family and friends.
1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. It's never good when it happens to any player or, anybody that you kind of know in this celebrity world that we live in, anybody you're attached to. But when it's one of your own from your own team, it's awful. Yeah, Godspeed, Jacoby Jones. Thoughts and prayers out to his family and friends and the organization at this time.
Drew Lampiers came up saying, "Good evening from Switzerland, lads."
Hey, my boy's still out there, look. Come on, we miss you.
Okay, so shall we move on to Brandon Ayuk doing what I call Debo tactics now? I know you
Go on,
you want to talk about this one, Mr. Perrins, so
Yeah, so it's a problem that has been brewing since before the Super Bowl. And I say this because the 49ers, and we talked about this before, and it's not because of just me and Baby's undying love for the San Francisco 49ers, but the 49ers have assembled the ultimate in terms of the Avengers of NFL talent. And being in this window, there comes to every single point where certain players are either looking for contract extensions or looking for trades, or they're looking to be moved on. Brandon Ayuk is slap bang. I mean, he's in the middle of his 20s. He's coming off of the back of his best season in the NFL. And this contract situation, which Amar St. Brown literally just reset the market again for wide receivers, has just gone, oh crap, well, if he's getting paid this much and I had a better season than him, well, I deserve to get paid more. And I see where he's coming from, because Brandon Ayuk has had a great season at the 49ers, but the money involved is ridiculous. And maybe even like the disrespect that he gets as well, because in the top 10 wide receivers of the NFL, Brandon Ayuk just managed to get squeezed in. And I'm genuinely surprised going into the draft that the 49ers, didn't trade him, and then coming out of the draft, the 49ers didn't trade him because they essentially drafted his replacement, didn't they? That's looking at what it is. And then his replacement, in theory, has also gotten injured and will miss the majority of the off-season. So now the power goes back into the hands of Brandon Ayuk. Now, from a personality point of view, and I just remember this from a couple of seasons ago, Baby, and you might do as well, is where Ayuk was put in the doghouse by Kyle because of attitude and etiquette. And he completely dropped him from a few games where he didn't even get a look in. The term "was put in the doghouse" was literally that. And, he's turned it around. He has this amazing relationship with Brock Purdy. And I think Brock Purdy has really, really brought him out. It became, a really good solid that Brandon Ayuk was Brock Purdy's number one target. from the majority of last year. If you can get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, it was always going to go to Brandon Ayuk. And I bought Brandon Ayuk jersey. If you remember on the birthday pod for me, where we put the poll out, and then I bought it there and then. So I still have
Not being funny, the amount of jerseys you got, you could probably everybody in your class could probably have one each.
You know what? Actually,
and I've seen them, and it's actually true.
You've seen them firsthand, mate. You've seen all 39 of my 49er jerseys. So I don't really know what to make of this, because I think eventually the 49ers will bend the knee and he will sign that contract. I don't think all the power is in the organization, because yes, he's going into his final year. Yes, they can franchise tag him and essentially keep him there for 2 years. But are you really going to keep somebody around that is stinking up the joint because they're angry with you because you haven't paid them? Or are you going to pay them and then continue that window which you've created? Because we're going to probably go for this next year when it comes to Brock Purdy, or when his contract comes up for it. So this is going to be almost like a yearly thing now with the 49ers, with their team, because we went Debo 2 years ago, Bosa last year, Ayuk this year. Purdy, I mean, thank God that Christian McCaffrey, took a pay cut to stay and extend, and Juice did the exact same thing as well. Yeah. So I think even with the salary cap going up and certain big stars taking the pay cut, I would be surprised if the 49ers didn't actually think this one couldn't happen with them re-signing Ayuk, but I don't know. I think if they weren't going to get rid of him now, it would have been before or after the draft.
Shane?
Boys, let me play devil's advocate for a second. Say if the Niners were like, all right, then you don't want to play here, we'll find you somewhere else. Who can actually afford him? Who's got enough cap space to afford him?
So the one I've seen, the biggest rumor, is a straight swap with Vegas for Davante Adams.
Oh, the rich getting richer. I don't like the sound of that. That sounds awful.
The Patriots have apparently made calls, and they have the most cap space in the league.
Ollie would love that.
So,
Ollie would love that. He'd rush out by the jersey.
Yeah. If I could just throw in my 2 cents here. So I think this is the last year for the 49ers Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
Because at the end of this season, Purdy, Hufanga, Mooney Ward, Lenore, all out of contract. Purdy isn't, but we can't afford to renew Purdy, Lenore, Ward, Hufanga, Ayuk, Debo, Trent Williams, Juice, McCaffrey. We can't afford all of them. We just simply can't. So this season, I think, is our last season of the Super Bowl window. So I don't see us trading him this year. I think we might franchise tag him next year, trade Debo, and then give Ayuk the bag. I think that is probably the most likely outcome. But the 2 teams that Ayuk has said he would be happy to play for, Washington Commanders, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, that sounds buzzing. I mean, Washington are in a massive rebuilding stage, and don't go to those fucking horrible bastards.
He's friends with Jaden Daniels from when they both played at Arizona State together.
Right.
And he seems to have this connection that he thinks he looks like Tomlin. So when he was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, he asked which uniform is he going to wear, and he said most likely Niners, if not Washington, if not Pittsburgh. But to be honest, I think the Niners hold most leverage here because A, they don't need to trade him because he's under contract. B, they don't have to pay him. He's still getting like a lot of money this season, and they can tag him next season. So I think the only leverage Ayuk really had was this trade request, which we don't have to honor. But I do agree with Phil that I think the Niners will eventually bend the knee and we will pay him.
Yeah.
But I just hope it doesn't go on as long as Bosa.
I think so too. I think they will sign him. Of course they will. You know, it's just him trying to strong arm them into getting his bag. And then when they're like, no. I mean, there was a famous Scottish soccer board coach that once said nobody's bigger than the club. You know, and Ayuk's not bigger than the Niners. You know, so they're showing him that.
I mean, the 49ers have won 5 Super Bowls before him, and during his time there, the 49ers have still only won 5 Super Bowls. So, you know, the 49ers have gone through this with Terrell Owens, and you could argue that T.O. was a much bigger star than Brandon Ayuk is currently. I mean, you know, we've gone through various different things over the last 2 decades in the Bay Area, and you know, if it does come down purely to the fact that the 49ers have to let him go or trade him elsewhere, that's, I mean, he's just chasing the bag, which I respect him for it anyway. But if you want to win, when that is the name of the game, winning, why would you leave the 49ers to go to a rebuilding New England? No offense to Baby. Oh, sorry, so to Ollie. If you want to win, if you actually want to win, why would you go to Vegas, where you're in probably one of the toughest divisions, and you're in a rebuilding team there as well? So all these different teams that can afford him can't really, or don't have the players, the skills, the infrastructure to build around him.
And the thing is, we're probably going to get draft picks for him, let's be real. And draft picks are worth the same now as they are in February, so why not wait till February?
Yeah.
Play the season out and then get traded. And it'll probably be a tag and trade like Brian Burns, but you're still going to get paid. You might as well wait a season because there's no point in us trading him now. And
yeah, agreed.
That's my view.
But I'm the only police on the show tonight. I'm the only sort of sheriff on the show tonight. So I'd be the only one that can sort of draw the line on the Niners talk. That's all Niners talk you're gonna get on the show for tonight. Do you want to move on, gentlemen?
Yes.
Should we move on to Good Morning Football?
What?
What's up, everybody? Good news. Good Morning Football, it's coming back.
We will see you July 29th.
From Los Angeles.
Looking forward to joining the fun.
We'll see you at the breakfast table soon.
Oh, yes.
Football is
That's
coming
very
back
cool.
from sunny Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, California. That's going to be awesome.
But I'm a bit sad Jason McCourtney is not returning.
Oh. Oh, that's poo. What? Is it just because he just went out? Is his contract's up, or?
I'm guessing he didn't want to move to LA.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
might have something to do there.
it always blows my mind, right? And I guess when you take a step back and talk a little bit about, Brandon Ayuk in the Bay as well, they have 50% taxes. It's kind of like, I remember. Do you remember like a couple of years ago where I think it wasn't Trent, was it Fred Warner that posted his salary, or was it Eric Armstead?
No. I saw
it was Armstead.
Armstead. Yeah, that's right.
And he posted like half of his salary goes to taxes. And this is just for our American listeners out there. So you had your big civil war against the Brits because we slightly raised taxes on bread and tea. And yet you'll happily live in a state that will take half of your paycheck from you without any healthcare or anything like subsidized or anything. It blows my mind. But yeah, I can see why you wouldn't want to move to LA, where you would potentially be earning less.
It's crazy.
So sometimes I think I'm American because I get half my paycheck taken from me too.
It's crazy because there are other states like Tennessee and Florida where there is zero income tax.
Yeah.
And then there's
Anyway, that's interesting. Yeah.
California, where it's like extortionately high.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's going to be awesome. Yeah. When they starting back? Was it July 29th?
29th of July.
So how do we watch it in this country? It's on Sky Sports, I imagine, or NFL Network. Well, and NFL Network.
It's usually on Sky Sports, but they don't tend to always show it at the moment because it's not Sky Sports NFL. But if you have Game Pass, you can watch it on NFL Network.
So here we are.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. You know, baby, basically laying down the law again, telling you how it is one more time. Good Morning Football's coming back July 29th. Sky Sports probably, but definitely NFL Network.
Buzzing my tits.
So should we
What?
move on to
Buzzing my tits off.
Should we move on to Randall Cobb?
Yes. I thought you said tits as well.
Randall Cobb is was an absolutely great player. He's one of
Aaron Rodgers' favourite weapons.
Yeah, and we're just best friends. I'll always remember a Hail Mary that was thrown by Aaron Rodgers, and Randall Cobb, the smallest player on the field, was the one that caught it.
Look.
I mean, his stats are 630 receptions in his NFL career for over 7,000 yards, 57 touchdowns, was a Pro Bowler, but I don't think he won a Super Bowl.
Did he not?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he was at the Packers when they won the Super Bowl.
I don't think he was either, to be fair.
I'm just gonna have a quick check. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm on his page now, and I don't think.
They were there from. He was there from 2011 to 2018. No, they win it? No, wait.
2008 or 2009, they won it, didn't they?
Oh, there we are. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't win
Maybe
Super
an
Bowl.
NFL book of knowledge, like.
But
I mean, considering, just looking at like his career, he only made one Pro Bowl?
Yeah, one Pro Bowl.
Jesus Christ! This is Randall Cobb, like.
Well, didn't he play last year? He played last year too, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did.
He was at the Jets.
Yeah.
I thought he was, of course, with Rodgers. Yeah, of course he was.
Yeah,
I remember on Hard Knocks, he made a block, and then they cut to his wife, and they were like, "Yeah, that's going to be a fine."
Yeah, that's like I said. Yeah, what a great veteran to play all those years in the league, and the fact that he played. His career is mostly associated with Green Bay, but he also went to the Cowboys, Texans, back to the Packers for a year, and then finished his career as a New York Jet. But as I said, I mean, you've run down some of his stats. Isn't he going to have a broadcasting career? And apparently, he said he's not officially retired.
He's moving into the SEC for college football.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So he's stepping down massively then. Well, it's not a step down, it's a fall down, really, because college football is just...
He's joining the ranks with RG3 in college football.
RG3, great quarterback. Nice boy.
Yeah, RG3
is one of the best to follow on Twitter as well. He's actually one of my favorite NFL presenters because he's so knowledgeable and he takes his bite. Like, what I love about my pundits is when they can take their allegiances out and still be able to report on it. Like, I love Richard Sherman sometimes, but like when he goes very pro 49ers and pro Seahawks, I'm going, well, you're doing this from a very biased point of view. And then you've got like others, like I think Tony Romo was really good at it at one point, but now I just don't think he didn't care. But like when RG3 talks, he's so passionate, but he takes away any bias towards any of his former teams or anything. And I love him, and he's great to follow on Twitter as well. He's a big fan of Brock Purdy. Just saying.
Another good quarterback to follow up on Twitter is Kurt Bednarik.
Yeah,
Kurt. Yeah, he plays Madden and stuff, doesn't he, as well?
Yeah, at one point he showed his rookie playbook from the Saints, and I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. So it'll peek behind the curtain. I bet the New Orleans GM wouldn't have been too pleased with that if you heard about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to ask him next time on the show.
Next time he's about, we ask him. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, we'll get him on the show next week.
we may have another guest on the show next week. Someone who's not NFL related, but he does watch his football. And he is a fan of a certain team in green. But let me just confirm that. Let me nail that one down first, and all to be revealed on our socials later on in the week.
Yes, I mean, so just to give a little bit, like, I mean, we're not hinting too much, but he's a big fan of talking into microphones. He loves, you know, being quite loud on the podcast. It could be quite a battle between me and him, and you know, we'll have to call him Mister. We have to call him Mister.
Stop saying it. No, it's not. Who you think it is? What kind of stroke do you think I got to get Ken Anderson on you?
What you said potentially pro wrestler who's a Green Bay fan. Like, I can only think of one person.
Shush, leave it there now. Leave it there. Like I said, all will be revealed later on in the week.
Yes. Anyway,
Maybe. Sorry, but back to you.
Have you guys seen the new Jags uniform that got released today?
I only saw it when you sent us the picture.
Yeah,
Chef's
I've not been able to get the picture on this, but I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I always think the Jags uniforms always look cold anyway. Like, I always think, despite what we think of them as an organization because of who their owner is, and who is their GM, I always think one of my first jerseys that wasn't 49er related, I bought a Blake Bortles jersey purely because I really like the Jags jerseys. And I kept that for years, and I've been like toying with the idea of maybe getting a Jags jersey in the future. Like,
no. You in next jersey, it's not a Niners jersey. You know exactly what jersey that is.
You can get a Josh Allen jersey with his new name.
Yeah, you got a new name. That's solid.
Yeah,
that's
Josh
yes,
Allen.
yeah.
What's his? I can't. Let me just get his new name because he's added his mother's maiden name to honor her to his name.
Ah, there we are. No, it's not Josh Allen on Josh Allen Violence.
Josh Hines Allen now.
There you go.
I mean, the thing is, like, it might just be so people remember him as, you know, an actual NFL player called Josh Allen who is capable of winning in the playoffs.
They're probably going to start calling him Beans now, I expect, around the training camp.
Well, I mean, Josh Allen's trying to be like Travis Kelce, hasn't he, with like Haley Steinfeld?
We don't talk about Travis Kelce on the show.
I didn't even know. Are they still together?
Yeah.
Who?
Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld.
I don't know what that is. Sorry, I can't help you with that one.
She's a singer, actress. She's really good. I like Haley Steinfeld.
Sorry, boys. I'm a little bit out of the new pop culture. I'm still stuck in the 80s with my Metallica.
Have you seen Pitch Perfect?
No, I'm sorry. I don't watch films with. That sounds quite little up my league.
She's in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3.
Pitch Perfect 2 is one of my favorite films. No joke.
Oh, stop it, boys! Come on now. Anyway, so yeah, back to the Oval Bowl, please, for God's sake.
Yeah, so I really like the Jags' new throwback jersey, but there's not really that much to say about it because I couldn't get the picture. But just an aside about something totally different before we move on to training camp. The NCAA game comes out tomorrow.
Yes, I'm going to get it at the end of the month just to play over August. I'm really looking forward to it.
I was looking at
the college bowl game. I thought it was out already.
Yeah, no, early access started this week, but yeah.
That's probably why.
There's an East Carolina quarterback there that's rated 12 out of 100.
I'm definitely gonna draft him for my team. I'm literally gonna trade for him.
Yeah, he's rated 12.
That's fine. We'll just it'll just be quarterback runs every play.
I'll segue that onto the fact that training camp has started because when Patrick Mahomes was interviewed, he said he brought a TV to training camp so he could play this game, and he'd never done that before. And training camp is back, which means football is one step back closer to being back.
Yes.
Oh, in the words of Linkin Park, we are indeed one step closer.
In the end, it doesn't even matter.
And people are already being put on NFIs, just like Ricky Pearsall.
Ricky Pearsall. Honestly, I still don't understand that draft decision. But anyway, I digress. So how are we doing the camp reviews?
We thought we'd look at training camp and just talk about some storylines that we were interested in. So Shall I start, or do one of you want to start?
Yes, please, bud. Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm interested in 3 major quarterback battles. So we've got Drake May versus Jacoby Brissett in New England. We've got JJ McCarthy versus Sam Darnold in Minnesota.
Oh my god.
And we've got Bo Nix. We've got Bo Nix versus Jarrett Stidham versus Zach Wilson in Denver.
I'm pulling for Zach Wilson. Just saying this name.
I'd love to see Zach Wilson. I'd love to see Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold both win. But I'm interested to see how long it takes for the rookie to start in all 3 of these situations.
Oh, it's the battle of mid, though, isn't it? Like, there's just nothing. It's not even like a quarterback controversy. It's like oh my god, I just hope they can actually, pass the ball 10 feet. Like, that's literally all I'm looking for. But no, I think the Denver situation fascinates me because I'm actually a big proponent for Zach Wilson. I really want him to do well. I think out of what was going on in New York at the Jets, it was going to become toxic whether or not he stayed or sat. And I think it's a good fit for him. As much as I don't like Sean Payton is a quarterback, and he trained and worked with Drew Brees, so he does know how to get the best out of the weapons around him. There was just probably a personality clash with Russell Wilson and him, but I think there was a lot of clash with Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos as a whole. So that's probably the only one I'm really, really interested in. The Minnesota one, I think Minnesota are they're just in no man's land for the next couple of seasons. I just think they're slowly building up a team. I don't think they are. You take Justin Jefferson out of the team, they're not really that, are they?
No. I just want to quickly circle back to the Denver one quickly.
Yeah, please.
I think Sean Payton needs to prove it to me that he is a quarterback whisperer before I believe it's.
Oh no!
I think we're in a situation where was it Belichick or Brady? Was it Breeze or Payton? Because
I mean, don't get me wrong. I never ever thought that Payton was a quarterback whisperer. I don't think he is at all. I just think that he was a quarterback and he played for the Chicago Bears. So he played in that Bears, institute in the late 80s, early 90s. And then him, falling on his feet in New Orleans, and having Drew Brees and working with Drew Brees for over a decade, I think that would give him some hindsight on how to work and get the best out of him. I don't think at all he is a quarterback whisperer whatsoever. I think the closest to that is maybe like a Shanahan or in LA, the Rams.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, McVay. I think those are really the only 2 genuine quarterback whisperers in the NFL.
So I think that Peyton's ego is going to make him want to start Zach Wilson and be like, look what I did to this low-level quarterback. I elevated him. Look at me, look at me. But I think he needs to prove that he can do that for me to believe that he actually is that good a coach and that he wasn't carried by, let's be real, a very, very good New Orleans offense.
Do you not think it's just you just saying that, right? And I don't mean to interrupt you. I won't interrupt you again, baby. Do you think that Sean Payton is the NFL equivalent to Jose Mourinho? Was good a long time ago, has gone well past their prime. He has a load of experience, but anytime that he's on the screen, it is about him. And that was the thing that really irritated me about him in Denver last year, where it was all about him, where he was trashing ex-coaches, he was trashing players, he was calling out reporters. It was very Mourinho-esque, modern Mourinho-esque. Do you think that's the case?
Well, the thing is, Mourinho won trophies with teams that probably shouldn't have won trophies, whereas late 2000s, early 2010s, the Saints were the best team. They had the best offense. They had one of the best defenses. So were they carrying Sean Payton? To be honest, they probably should have won more than 1 Super Bowl.
Yes.
So Mourinho took Porto and won the Champions League when Porto didn't really have any business being anywhere near the Champions League. Whereas Sean Payton built a team that could have coached themselves to the playoffs.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong on that assumption, and the fact that I've always liked Sean Payton, even when I watched, about Bountygate and things like that. It's a case of that mindset is a quote unquote Raiders mindset. Al Davis, just win, baby. So that's one of those ruthless mindset things. I don't agree with engineering people, but it shows what he will do to get to the top. And I've always been a fan of Sean Payton. But I think he may be coming to the end of his rope in Denver at the minute. When the fact that he's got to start with Bo Nix, that's going to be tough.
I mean, people are tipping Jared Stidham to win that one because he already knows the system.
I think he knows is a bench, but that's all he knows. Yeah. Can I do the next one?
Of course.
My storyline going into this season is, of course, the most competitive division in football, AFC North, the AFC North. Last year, we ran away with it. But this year, it's not going to be so simple. With this quarterback carousel in Pittsburgh, with Russell Wilson and a personal favorite of mine, Mr. Justin Fields, both with something to prove. I think they're going to be dangerous this year. And you can't look. Oh, have anybody seen Joe Burrow's new haircut?
Yeah.
No.
He looks like an extra from Prison Break. He really does. He looks like a thug. So if he can channel that thug mindset on the field, something like the me machine, the longest yard type, Austin type mindset, if you know what I mean. He should translate to success on the field. And then you've got the Browns, the unpredictable Browns, with one of the best defenses in football. And again, another player I'm a big fan of and always have been. Fan of him on the field, not so much, Deshaun Watson, and he's a wild card. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting season on that AFC North. And of course, we get behind the scenes access with Hard Knocks as well. So we get to see what goes on behind the curtain.
I think the Bengals could be a very interesting team this year because I feel like Joe Burrow is going to come back and feel like he has something to prove this season because although he was injured for most of last season, when he did play, he wasn't that good. Jamar Chase did a contract year, so he needs to prove he's worth the big money. And the O-line needs to prove that it actually knows how to block.
Yeah.
So I think the Bengals' offense is a very interesting side of the ball this year.
Well, what about in Atlanta?
What do you reckon?
What about what? I'm just really fascinated with Atlanta because they have 3 quarterbacks that you could probably argue on occasion are worthy enough to be starting under center. So they picked up they picked up their big blockbuster acquisition in Kirk Cousins. And then they picked up Taylor Heineke, and then the ownership drafted Michael Penix Jr. 8th overall in the draft this year. So you've got 3 quarterbacks. Two of them were starting last year in the NFL, and Michael Penix, who they've just given away a first rounder for. So that's
Michael Penix, who led a not that good team to the national championship.
Exactly. So what's going to go on here?
Sorry,
because
to the national championship game, they didn't win the national championship.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. But Kirk Cousins is his ego alone is gonna, he's gonna be Billy Big Bollocks going into Atlanta. Taylor Heineke, very solid. I think he got shafted in Washington. I think he would be a really good serviceable quarterback anywhere in the league. And then Michael Penix, who, like you said, has had a stellar college career in his senior year, and he's been drafted 8th overall. So that's where I think a lot of the story is going to be, because the Falcons are trying to build something. I would like to see a little bit more from Kyle Pitts. Ross Dwelly, ex-49ers on their roster as well. So is Charlie Woerner. So they've got like a few ex-49ers on their rosters that we can keep an eye on going in. But that quarterback situation in Atlanta, that's going to be ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. And you're going to have a fallout. You're going to have two quarterbacks that aren't going to be starting, and that's going to cause issues, especially if they don't start winning.
I'm glad you mentioned Kyle Pitts, actually, because there's been noise coming out of Atlanta that he's actually going to take some snaps at wide receiver in camp as well as tight end.
I mean, he's built like a wide receiver. I'm surprised he doesn't get more on the ball anyway. I mean, that was the whole thing last year when people had him in like their fantasy teams and he was getting absolutely nothing. He wasn't getting any receptions. He wasn't getting any yards. He wasn't getting any catches. He wasn't even getting any targets. It was kind of crap. Like it was crap.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason Arthur Smith got fired was because he didn't know how to use his best two offensive targets of Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
So another thing I'm quite interested to see is, as well as the contract situation for Brandon Ayuk and how that plays out, the franchise tag situation with T. Higgins, because he's the deadline to sign the franchise tag was the 15th of July, and he's not done it.
Ooh, things are heating up in Cincy.
And he's now the only. So he was the only one left with a franchise tag because everybody else either got a long-term deal or got traded, and now he's not signed the franchise tag. So I'm interested to see the fallout from that.
So just tell the audience in video and audio land just what would happen because he hasn't signed the franchise tag.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this now. So T. Higgins was franchise tagged by the Browns, but by the Bengals, but he wasn't very happy. So he refuses to sign his franchise tag and asks to be traded. And now I'm just reading this. So he will earn his 21.8 million that he will earn, but it now means that he may his future is up in the air now. So they don't really know what's going to happen yet.
Okay.
But I'm interested to see the fallout on whether he actually refuses to play this season. Whether he goes for a holdout or potentially even a hold in.
Do you think he will?
I think he might. I think a hold in is probably more likely than a hold out.
So why do you think he's not signing? Do you think he wants to leave? Do you think he wants? Well, he obviously wants more money. Everyone wants more money. But do you think he's going to leave and go somewhere else?
I think the fact that they've not spoken to him for over a year about a new contract, I think at this point he wants out.
Huh.
I mean, they can't afford to pay Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. They just can't. That's not viable. So they've got Jamar Chase for one more year before they need to pay him. They're paying Joe Burrow already. I think Joe Burrow is the highest paid. If he's not the highest
yes,
paid,
he is. Yeah,
he's one of the highest paid. So it's kind of the same situation with the 49ers with Brandon Ayuk. You can't really afford to pay a quarterback and two wide receivers because you've got too many other positions that you have to pay.
Yeah. I mean, thank God for the salary cap, or this could be like the Premier League.
Yeah. But I mean, the Bengals are one of the poorer, I don't want to say that franchises. Like, there was a big thing that they sold the name, they sold the naming rights to the stadium so they could afford to play Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. So yeah, I'll go with one.
Otherwise, it would be, if it wasn't for the salary cap, it would be teams like the Niners, Cowboys, just, stretching their
chucking money about for fun. Yeah, 100%. Completely agree. One of the biggest storylines to keep an eye out for when the season starts off again is Jim Harbaugh's return to the NFL with the San Diego Chargers, or as I like to call them, Baltimore Ravens 2.0.
Los Angeles Chargers.
I forget. I can't help it. Sometimes you've got things where you don't want to change it. You just don't want to change it. It's like, to me, X is not X. So is Twitter. You know that.
Yeah, I mean, they should be back San Diego, but they're not going to.
No, I know. I mean, as I said, yeah, like he's back in the NFL for the first time since 2014, boys, when he left when he left Niners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's to me, maybe I'm wrong. Don't play the sport. Wish I could have. Never have. It's a nice night and day between college and the pros. And the fact that it's your first season back in the big time. You basically drafted a lot of Ravens. I'm not going to call them rejects because they were serviceable for us just due to a lot of injuries. They couldn't stick around. The likes of J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and they also got Quentin Johnson, who first season in the NFL done a grand total of this. Yeah, for anybody in audio land, that was me making the zero gesture with my fingers.
Yeah, Quentin Johnson forgot he had hands.
Exactly, yeah. So, again, what happens with him this season now? Is he going to turn it around? Or is his confidence going to be an all-time low and he's going to be out of the league as quickly as Jamarcus Russell was?
I'm actually excited to watch the Chargers this season. And, I mean, I was very, 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 very critical last season of Brandon Staley. I made it very clear that what I thought of him as a coach.
It's very clear.
And although they've lost Keenan Allen and although they've lost Mike Williams, I still think the Chargers are a talented team, especially on defense. So I am excited to see if Jim Harbaugh can fire up some of these players like Justin Herbert, like Quentin Johnson, like Gus Edwards. And I think the Chargers could actually potentially have a positive record this season.
Yeah, I think they will. In all honesty, as I said, just because of the Ravens fan in me, because I want to see them players do well. But of course, John's brother we're going to see that epic clash this year. The first time they've clashed in the pros since the aforementioned Super Bowl in 2013. Jim Harbaugh against John Harbaugh, Chargers against the Ravens. That's going to be an interesting game because a lot of again, ex-Ravens are going to be playing against players who last season were their teammates.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see as well.
Yeah. Phil, should we have one more before we move on?
Yes, but
go on.
Do you have another one?
No, sorry, that's literally the one that I'm hyper fixated on.
What, the Atlanta one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, finally...
I don't think electrical in your house.
No, well, I'm sitting in the office and this is just sunset, mate. This is literally just the sun going down and the lights all the way over there, and I don't really want to get up because I'm hot and sweaty.
I don't really want to get up.
The last one I'm interested in is seeing all the injured players come back. So, like, Tano Vanga for the Niners, Joe Burrows for the Bengals. I mean, there were a lot of injuries. There were a lot of injuries last year. So
yeah, not to mention Keaton Mitchell as well. He's out for the first 4 games of the season.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
I mean, Dre Green was another one. I want to see how all these players come back.
Yeah.
Like there were so many quarterback injuries last year. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrows, Deshaun Watson was out for a lot of the season. Lamar didn't get injured, did he?
No, AJ was fine.
Yeah, but my point is there were a lot of injuries last year, especially to quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is the main one. I'm interested to see how he bounces back.
Yeah.
But there are other quarterbacks too that I want to see if they are as good as they were before the injury. So that's the last one, seeing people work back to fitness and seeing how good they actually are.
100%. I totally agree with you.
Okay, so shall we move on to the question of the week?
Yes.
By Mr. Butler Henderson. So, Ollie's question was, which team has never led in the Super Bowl despite being in 4? And I've not actually seen the correct answer. The two
a team that has never led in the Super Bowl despite being in 4.
Yes.
All right, then. I think I might know.
Okay, so the two main answers I've seen are the Bills and the Raiders. I thought Bills, but they are both incorrect.
Okay.
Is it the Vikings?
It is the Vikings.
Oh!
It is the Minnesota Vikings. That is, you are correct, Phil.
Alexa,
Now,
pick out the personality by a living color.
Now, do you know why the Vikings wear purple? Do you know why the Vikings wear purple?
I do,
Go on.
but I'll let you tell the viewers.
Drum roll, please.
For those who don't know, the reason why the Minnesota Vikings wear purple is because, well, if I was choking for 60 years, I'd be purple too. The biggest what if ever. Oh my good God. As soon as I genuinely, listeners, I did listen. I listened to the question, but I didn't do any research. I didn't cheat or anything.
What's that, boys?
Just give you a little skull clap for that.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't cheat, but like genuinely, it's the most Vikings thing ever, because when they've gone to the Super Bowl, they've been the most dominant force that year, or beaten the dominant force that year in an NFC Championship game, and then they've bottled it. Even when they've gone in as favorites, they bottled it. They bottled it against the Steelers. They bottled it against the Raiders. They bottled it again. Oh, they're just bottlers. And that's before the NFC Championship games as well that they bottle. So yeah.
I mean,
Well done.
the main Minnesota playoff memory I have is the miracle in Minneapolis with Stephon Diggs.
See, mine is them getting to the NFC Championship with Brett Favre and Bountygate really come into account. That's my
I can't believe I'm
memory
going to
of
see him play this season. I can't believe I'm going to
I
see
know,
him play
we're
this
going to be
season.
there. We're going to be there.
We're going to be there doing the skull clap. We'll be there doing the skull.
What? We're doing what?
The skull clap. That's the big Viking thing.
Oh, the skull clap. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Skull.
Phil, you actually coming? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sitting with Hendo. I'm sitting next to Hendo.
With me then?
Yeah.
The three of us sat together. Fucking yeah. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll be on this. I'll be on the other side of the stadium.
I
That's
can't
fine.
believe
We'll
that's
see
not
you
fair.
beforehand. Yeah. We'll literally see you
Look,
there.
you can see your family. Yeah. You can see your family all the time. You can't see us all the time.
I'll be with Jack again. You guys met Jack last year.
We did. Vikings fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice boy.
Yeah, I went to San Francisco with him to watch Niners Vikings a couple of seasons ago. Anyway, boys, I think that's all we have for this week. Do you have anything to add before we sign off?
Sign off, boys and girls. Yep.
Okay. So as everyone else knows, my other gig is on a radio station called Summer Valley FM. I was on the show Saturday just gone. It's 3 hours of drum and bass. You know, if you want to know where it is, summervalleyfm.com, Club Immerse. If you like that kind of thing, I'm all over it. I love it. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I'm available over there. And again, for all of our new listeners, followers, viewers, thank you so much. These kisses are for you, for joining us and listening to our nonsense for an hour of your time every week. You have no idea how much we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We'll be back next Thursday, hopefully as a foursome.
Yes, he's back.
Mr. Butler Henderson will be back, and hopefully the training camp will be in full swing, so we should have some good news coming out of there.
Yep.
And
awesome.
we'll see you all next week. And as Mr. Butler Henderson would say, stay safe.